Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust, Christian owned, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault. We are on episode 702. Today we're talking about alternative investments for trustees. Definitely excited about this episode. We do our best to bring the best content to the internet when it comes to talking to trustees, people that are in asset protection positions for their family estate, and people that want to be in that position. But we're going to talk about it from a trustee perspective. We got a bunch of trustees that listen, so appreciate all the trustees for tuning in live, listening to replay. All the new listeners, thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Definitely hit the like and the subscribe. We do a lot of live episodes. You can always go back and listen. We got a ton of episodes, 700 episodes worth. So you can always go back and listen to the episodes. But this episode today is really focused on, the data, what we got to talk about here. So if you're listening live, listening to replay, feel free to type into the chat while you're listening. I always appreciate it. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening live or listening to replay from. And we just really thank you all for doing that, typing into the chat where you're listening live, listening to replay from. So go ahead and do that now. And so this episode is Alternative Investments for Trustees, episode 702. Why be so into this? We're going to do some new episodes, but we're going to talk about an alternative investment. There's a lot of people, they're so used to real estate. They're so used to this, they're so used to that, they're so used to the stock market. But what's an alternative investment? Trust, Christian, in the vault. So we're going to have to go ahead and talk about that. And today's episode is going to be talking about that. So we're going to go ahead and give you out a Investopedia, type thought process so y'all can understand that this is a real category. Alternative investments are assets outside of traditional stocks, bonds, cash, including private equity, real estate, commodities, hedge funds, cryptocurrencies, known for potentially higher returns, diversification, low correlation to the market. So when you got your financial advisor telling you, oh, well, we're getting market-based returns, that's not good. You're supposed to have outperforming, but has a greater risk. Sometimes has illiquidity, sometimes has less regulations. They're non-traditional. So some examples of this would be private markets, private equity, venture capital, private credit. Did you hear that? These are alternative investments that you could put and make some money at. Also, real estate, infrastructure, commodities, gold, oil. Do you hold gold as an alternative investment? Oh, I didn't know it was considered an alternative investment. Did you know oil was an alternative investment? Think about the tax liability for gold and oil. Is it the same as a stock? No. The tax liability is different. It's an alternative investment. Hedge funds and derivatives, complex strategies. An alternative investment. Art, antiques, collectibles. Do you hold any? Are you holding gold? Are you holding silver? Cryptocurrencies, NFTs. Now, why would someone want to hold these things, Trust, Christian, in the vault? Well, let's talk about it. The reason why you're going to hold one of these is because they can go into the private with you. They can be private, not public. That's why we're doing the episode. To go over this with people because they want to keep putting their money into stocks, bonds. They want to hold cash. All y'all friends telling y'all, oh, I'm a millionaire and I got my money in the bank. You got your money in the bank when it's not even insured past $250,000. Explain that to the common man, athletes. Are you with a bank that actually says to you, well, yeah, it doesn't matter how much money you have in our bank. We have insurance policies on the entire amount of capital, so you're protected. Did they say that to you? Or did they just say, oh yeah, we're a FDIC insured institution? That's not alternative investment asset protection. That's why we're doing the episode. Because some of y'all got money sitting in an account for $250,000. It's beyond that. And you think that's good. When the bank told you, guess what? We don't know how to manage more than that and insure more than that. And when you're sophisticated, you go to that side of the bank and they actually help you protect your capital through alternative investments. That's when you diversify your portfolio. Okay, the bank only holds that $250,000 FDIC insured, but then okay, let's go ahead and diversify with the bank now, because the bank's not even holding more than that in the bank. They already told you that. So where's your money sitting at? They actually have diversified your money proactively in those investments. You didn't know that though. Did you go in the books and see what the bank is diversified in after $250,000 that they got to hold on the book for each customer? That they gotta say that they and did you read the fine print on how they're gonna pay you back? Oh no, Trust Christian, you talking those wealthy problems. You're right. That's who we're talking to. We're talking to the clients that do have more than $250,000 sitting in an account, sitting in multiple accounts. That's what we're talking to. Can you do alternative investments before you have $250,000? Yes. Yes. We just talked about it. Are you buying gold? Are you buying silver? Are you buying the tangible asset as opposed to the paper asset? See, the paper's public. The hard tangibles private. How am I going to hold oil, Trust Christian? That's why we say it's not a benefit of being into the traditional asset classes, because you might as well just go ahead and get the paper. You might as well get the paper gold contract, the paper silver contract, the paper oil contract. That's what people do. They buy futures contracts. This is what they're doing. They're buying investments. When you buy a security, you're buying an investment. You're buying a regulated asset. It's regulated. Did you hear that alternatives are less regulated? All right. So you're now looking to buy a less regulated asset. Well, a lot of people are into the crypto stuff. They've been talking about the crypto stuff for a long time, long periods of time now. Oh, I'm going into crypto. I'm into crypto. Okay. We're not haters over at the vault. We're not haters. But at the end of the day, are you wealthy off of it? We know many trustees that are diversified, that are holding the coins as alternative investments. They're investing with an alternative investment mentality. Their returns, they're not looking for market-based correlated returns. They're looking for outperformance. Think about when you were holding the gold and the silver. You were looking for market outperformance, but sometimes you don't know when. But in an alternative investment sector, you actually make it a point to time the assets as well appreciating, because it's risk management. How you gonna know risk management if you don't ever practice risk management? So alternative investments. Alternative investments, we sit in the room with a lot of alternative investment managers. You traditionally will see alternative investment managers will be, businesses that are different, that are not within your normal scope. Right now, for example, AI is not an alternative investment. A lot of people are investing in AI right now. They want to put money towards AI. That's not an alternative investment. It is in the respect that it's outside of stocks, bonds. But when you say we're looking to invest in AI, you're investing in major blue chip tech companies and they're investing in AI. So that's how you get inside of AI. It's not a full-blown AI investment, alternative investment play. But if you were to say, hey, we're going to do pre-market, that means they haven't went public yet, we're going to invest in a private offering for a AI company, that's more of your alternative investments, type looking at investment. So we'll share that again. So let's just say you're going to invest in like your major blue chip tech companies They are investing in AI. They have a whole fund behind it. That's not alternative. Alternative is quote unquote you, your family, your investment committee, whatever, is going out and actually basically investing in a company privately. You're investing in a company privately. They're not public yet. They're not publicly traded on the stock market. They're not floated on the stock market. You're doing alternative investments. You're going private. You're going direct. That's the beauty of it. So are you taking a gamble on the company? Sure, you're taking a gamble on the company. Whereas the stock market, you can almost bet a lot of these companies aren't going to go under because they've been vetted by banks and other people. Sometimes in alternative investments, it actually requires you to do your own due diligence privately. That's what you're looking at. Private, not just public, private. So you have to do some due diligence privately. And alternative investments could look like that. You investing in companies directly. You investing in people directly. Ladies and gentlemen, the alternative investment sector is growing. A lot of people don't like bonds. They want to get outside of 4% returns. People are looking to get more than a 7% return on an asset or an investment. Bottom line, you get the average individual. If you ask them what the type of returns they're looking, if you're looking at stock market returns, you're still looking under 12 to 15%. That's not a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to outperform inflation, quote unquote, or the current money system, how are you gonna do that when you don't have an investment that's giving you that? Your 401k, you got a 401k, I'm still contributing, Trust Christian. I'm not using that money to get the outsized returns. I'm doing market based. Exactly. You're putting money into a predictable environment. So when we talk about alternative, you may not be putting it in 401ks. You may not be putting it in your IRAs. Oh, I can invest in alternative investments from my IRA. Y'all didn't hear that from us though, because we done heard it before. But we gonna let y'all know we have heard it before. Oh, I can invest in alternative investments from my IRA, Trust Christian Vault. So I'm using my IRA. Yeah, but that's also public money, because it hasn't been taxed yet. So when you finally take the money out, it's taxable, right? Right. It's a delayed tax system. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about you have the cash free and clear, you're going out, you're making an investment, alternative investment. Trustees, not from an employee perspective. So okay, as a trustee, you're going to alternative investment events. See, a lot of trustees say, oh, Trust Christian, I don't know how to be around wealthy people. How do I get around the wealthy men? That's what the women say. Y'all think we don't hear it. We hear it. The women say, how do I get around wealthy men? You got to go to the alternative investment conference. It's that simple. It's going to be a whole bunch of men in there. That's the way it works. Oh, Trust Christian, you really doing it like that? Hey, I sit in the room. I see who comes in the room. It's a bunch of men, traditionally, high net worth investor stuff. Are you going to get some women that come in the room? Sure. For all the women that are in trusteeship, you say you want to find a man that's on top of high level finance. They are in alternative investment conferences. We're not saying that these individuals don't have their own problems. That's not you. You didn't ask that part. They say, well, Trust Christian, I don't really like these people, these guys outside. And, how am I going to find someone that's in trusteeship, that understands that I'm in trusteeship? Someone that is in alternative investments. Alternative investments normally means you're in trusteeship, for sure. Because you're a high net worth investor. You can qualify for these investments. So yes, they have the right mindset and they have the pockets. That's what the women ask. Y'all don't want to hear this though. Oh man, for real. The men, you hope you find one in the room, if you know what I mean. But outside of that, the women say, hey, I went through a situation. I have some capital. I want to keep my capital. I want to be with someone that thinks about having capital, that thinks about business. We got a bunch of trustees that are women that have real estate, sitting on $250,000 to $1 million worth of real estate, $100,000 worth of real estate. And they want to be with men that actually know how to help them diversify their portfolio even further. That's a fact. They want to be around men that can help them diversify the portfolio. Not just be around somebody that wants to take from the portfolio or live off the portfolio right now. Just live off it. We're not saying expand it. Just live off it. There are women that have gone through trustee training for sure, and they want to be around men that can help them diversify their portfolio. So for the women that are listening, you just got your jewel. You didn't know where they were, quote unquote, outside of church. Guess what? They are at alternative investment conferences. Usually your alternative investment conferences, they're actually all over, whether you know it or not. They're in these foreign countries that people travel to. They are in the States. We wouldn't even want to limit it to a major area like a DC or Florida or a LA or a New York or Massachusetts or Chicago. We wouldn't want to limit the alternative investment conferences only to those cities. We would say as well, please, if you're in a major state like a Texas, you're gonna meet people in alternative investments. Think about it. If you go to Texas, you're going to South by Southwest. That's alternative investment environment. South by Southwest is an alternative investment environment. It's in Texas. So sometimes they try to mix the cool with the money. You don't always get that, but you do get alternative investment conferences trying to basically do cool with money. You don't always have to wear a tie. You can wear a polo shirt. It's business casual. And you come to a conference and they're talking about alternative investments. What's an alternative investment? Oh yeah, we're investing in a fund that's investing in X, Y, and Z development in another country. We're with an investment group. An investment group could sometimes be doing those type of things internationally. So when you're looking for an alternative investment group, they're out there. That's a fact. So you don't have to do these big major, once again, so you say, we'll give you a contrast. A contrast to a private investment group would be like you investing in an ETF. It's basically, oh yeah, I'm going to go invest in the public markets. So you go do an ETF. That's what people tell you. Oh yeah, invest in the major funds because you can't lose there. These guys don't lose, man. They're outperforming they got all the major companies in it, so it's a fund. Really lose. That's what people tell you. That's the safe route. You're going to get 8%, man. You're going to get 10%, man. That's what people tell you. It's the public markets. Oh man, if you go, and it's sad because we're not here to promote a company that may go out of business, but like you guys are familiar with these major brokerage firms or financial houses that they started a fund, ETF fund with X, Y, and Z named fund. It's an ETF and they hold multiple stocks and you could put your money with them. That's not alternative. That's traditional. It's an ETF. It's publicly listed. The ETFs are even listed. So they're buying publicly listed companies and then listing their company on the stock market. That's not alternative. Alternative is, oh yeah, we're in a part of a private real estate investment group. We do private real estate deals. We don't do one type of deal. Sometimes we do construction. Sometimes we do ground up construction. Sometimes we do rehab. We go on a case by case basis, but we have an incredible underwriting and deal sourcing team. And for that reason, we go out and find deals that our investors get 130% return over a 2 to 3 to 5 year period. Now you think about what we just said, 130% return. How many of y'all getting talked to like that with your financial advisor? Oh yeah, man, we're trying to we're not going to lie to you here. We're not going to tell you, it's a downside sometimes, man. Where are you going to get 130%? That's unreal. No, that's unreal for the public markets. That's not unreal for the private markets. That's kind of low. So alternative is, yes, you do get in on those ground up construction deals. Oh man, you don't even want to know. These guys, think about it. In 1 year, you put up money for something that makes 60% on top of what you made. So you make your principal back plus 60% in a year. And they want to sit out here and you want to play with it. Oh man, I'm getting a financial education. I'm watching all the YouTube videos. I'm watching all the YouTube videos. Church Christian, what are you talking about? Did you Google alternative investment managers? They have managers out here for that. Go start reading about what they are seeing for the 2026 year calendar out. Will be some good alternative investments. That gives you a thesis. That gives you a beginning. Okay, this is what the managers that are already successful. You're looking at the managers that are successful. Oh, I follow Warren Buffett, man. He's my favorite. I follow Warren Buffett. He's buying stocks though, Trust Christian. Did you know he had an alternative investment fund? Did you know that? You follow Warren Buffett. He's your hero, right? He's your idol, right? But you didn't know he was investing in alternative investments. You didn't know that part. You don't know that part of his portfolio because you idol worship. You didn't know that. Now you can look into it. You can look into Warren Buffett's alternative investment, and we'll actually pull up some. We'll give word to the lazy. Let's see, Warren Buffett. Here we go. Warren Buffett alternative investment allocation. Warren Buffett asset. No, we gotta do alternative. For the average investor, Warren Buffett advises a 90-10 allocation. So he's 90% in low S&P and 10% short-term government bonds. With that now, and you think about that. Is he doing alternative investments? Do you know the alternative investment strategy that Warren Buffett does? And see, that's the thing. People don't know if he has an alternative investment fund. They don't know what he's investing inside on the side. They just hear about, well, this is where we hear Berkshire's name is in control of it. Right. But are you aware that they buy companies privately too? You think Warren Buffett, all his companies are public? Like, it's amazing to see people that I do worship Warren Buffett, but I don't know his alternative asset allocation. I don't really know what it really is. Okay, well, now you know. You know that there are alternative investments. And you think Warren Buffett's not investing in oil? You think Warren Buffett didn't hold gold? Are you serious? Oh man, this is the old Warren Buffett. He ain't investing in gold. He's not investing in silver. Right. So you think Warren Buffett, some man that's been investing his whole life, he said he invested in the stock market. You think this man would not hold hard, tangible assets such as gold and silver and oil in his portfolio too? But you don't? And once again, do you think he only holds that in paper? Just like everybody went, all the Americans. We can always talk about this. All the Americans, oh man, the American dollar, man, is going down in value. Well, if your American dollar is going down in value, when are you diversifying? If your American dollar is going down in value, when are you diversifying? Are you diversifying? Out of the paper? Out of the paper? Hold on, let's say it again. Out of the paper. Oh man, Charles Christian involved. I hold real estate. I have the legal title. It's worth some money. On paper. That's all it is. That's why I never liked real estate. It was like, how do you like something that doesn't produce money? It's just land. There is no money in land. You have to build something on the land to make it money. But oh no, Trust Christian Devote, you don't really know. You can always build something on the land, so you gotta hold it first. Whatever. Those people that be holding it, they be waiting on money. They ain't getting no money, but they waiting on it. Like, where are we at? You can hold gold. You can hold silver in your hand. It's an alternative investment. You could trade that privately outside of the market. That's alternative. You don't have to public. You want? Here we go. Traditional investments, they trade during traditional business hours. Alternative investments, they trade when there's no public trading hours. They trade off the market. Y'all don't want to hear that though. When the stock market closed, there's still assets and options being moved for sure. That's why when you go into the market in the AM, you'll see, man, that company moved immediately as soon as the market opened. Exactly. Someone bought actual shares before the company started, before the stock market started that day. They bought it in what's called the after hours because they qualify to buy stock in the after hours. You can actually qualify to buy stock in the after hours. That's a form of alternative investing. Oh no, Trust Christian, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could invest in the alternative hours because no one ever told me that. That's not legal. You can't do that. You can't invest in the stock market in the after hours. Right. And it's funny how people talk like this. They talk like they know everything. We're sharing y'all with the facts when you can sit here and look at the stock market when it opens up at times. And even in the past, always in the past, the stock market will open up. Next thing you know, This company will just drop straight out of the sky. You be like, damn, what happened? Yeah, the company, there was a seller. They sold in what? The after hours. They sold in the after hours. And when you get to a financial position, when you're on certain platforms, because y'all be on these rinky-dink platforms. Oh, I'm on this rinky-dink trading platform, Trust Christian. They held my money for a little bit of time. Yeah, when you get on good quality platforms, you can actually see those transactions happening in the after hours. It's just basically you see the screen before you see this trading screen during the daytime, and you see the trading screen in the after hours. Most people don't get to see the trading screen in the after hours because they don't qualify. They don't have a big enough bank. You don't have enough money. How if think about it, the only reason you need to see the market in the after hours is because you can afford to buy things that are going to move the market. Because guess what? When you actually move the market in the after hours, it's always seen the next day. That's why the news isn't good. Because if you watch the news, you're looking at them reporting how the move was made. Oh yeah, X, Y, and Z is going down right now. We got to find the reason why it's selling off. Why is there a sell-off on this stock right now? Right. Because somebody's selling off. Someone sold off in the after hours. Why is the market falling right now today? We don't really know why. No crazy news came out. Why is it coming out? Because these tech guys, they've been sitting on a lot of money. They took a lot of gains. Guess what? They all know each other. Don't think they don't know each other. We know each other. We sit in the same rooms. We're sitting in alternative investment rooms. We actually think about it. The higher you go for the financial information, the more you know, and the sooner you're gonna know when the big whales are making their move. A whale's gonna say, "Hey, you know what? We good. We taking some money right now. We're gonna allocate capital to AI. So we're gonna take it out of a stock and we're gonna put it into an investment. Take it out of something stable. We're gonna put it in something a little bit more risky." And they do. So you see the whales move, and the whales move in the after hours. So, oh, Trust Christian, do I get to whale status? How am I going to get? You get the whale status. If you really want to be a trader that can see in the after hours, you get the whale status. You get the accredited investor status. You do your homework. You do your research. You find out, oh man, I could actually trade in the after hours. There are people trading in the after hours. It's no way. Christian, you're no way. I've never heard this before. It's illegal. How come the public stock market doesn't report it? How come the news reporters don't report it? First of all, these people have a job. They're public people. Why would they be reporting private moves that are happening on a platform that they can't see? Because they're journalists. The people that are making the moves in the after hours, the people that have access to see these moves being made, they are whales. They are accredited investors. They are sitting with the Bloomberg account. For all y'all that don't know, they're sitting with the Bloomberg account. So you can actually see the moves that are being made in the after hours. Bro, no, Trust Christian. I didn't really know about that. I didn't know you could trade in the after hours. I only thought I could trade during the daytime when the market was open. Alternative investments looks like you trading in the after hours, and that's real, and the opportunity's there for you. So you got to know what you're doing. You can't fall for the flim flam out here on the street. Oh man, Trust Christian, what do you mean? You know how many people literally want like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7% returns, like, and they're super happy. There are many people in the world right now, if you gave them a 7% return on any of their money, they're gonna be happy. Because they ain't got to think about it. They don't have to manage it. You can go sit there somewhere with a traditional financial institution. But when you say, hey, Trust Christian, when they come to y'all, you know how your family member come to you, be like, hey, Trust Christian, I got $5,000. What should I do with it? Hey, Trust Christian, I got $10,000. What should I do with it? Hey, Trust Christian, I got $20,000 saved up. And I could risk it. I could do it. I got some more in my 401k. I got some money stashed away. So I got 20 to lose if I lost it. But I can't lose it. But I need you to know I got 20 for an investment. So this isn't financial advice or legal advice, but when you say, okay, you got 20, you happy with that 7% return? Because when you want to go get that 130%, when you want to get that 60% in 1 year, when you want to get that 30% in 1 year, it looks like an alternative investment. So you got to do your homework. A lot of times, there is no public safeguard rail here. It's just, you got to be savvy. You got to do your homework. That's it. Start doing your research on alternative investments. It's just that simple. And you'll see that sometimes they actually match some public investments, but they're considered still to be private. We were looking at some of these guys on the internet. These guys would be like, oh man, you should put your money in private equity. It's like, dude, what do you know about that? What is a normal average investor that made $1 million? They made less than $5 million making money. What do they know about private equity? Nothing. Y'all don't want to know that though. They don't know nothing about private equity. They just say, oh yeah, you should put your money in private equity. How are you going to get your money in private equity? Do you even know that your money is locked up in private equity in what you call a hedge fund? Oh man, I want to put my money in. They ain't even talking about hedge funds nowadays because the average investor don't know that a hedge fund is an alternative investment. How do you get your money into a hedge fund? How long is your money held in a hedge fund? How do you get your money into a hedge fund? Hedge funds go under all the time. How do you get your money into a hedge fund? Oh man, Trust Christian, I'm trying to get my money. I got $20,000. Remember, you got 20,000, right? We got trustees that come nuts. I got 50. I got $60,000 that I could put away somewhere right now. Yeah, but that's not private equity money. That's not alternative investment money. You think that's alternative investment money. That's not alternative investment money. That sounds good. Can you put money? Okay, so for example, you'll say, okay, Trust Christian, are you serious? Come on, man. I got $50,000 and I'm looking to get that 30% return. Okay, we're going to share with y'all how I look. You're going to go into a private investment situation and you're going to put up to 60. So you might qualify. You with a bank, financial institution, they're an investment bank, and you're on that side. You're on the accredited investor side. So yes, you can invest in alternative investments now. And so you want to invest from an alternative investment perspective. It looks like, okay, we got the banks can come to you, say, hey, we got somebody that's raising money for a business right now, and they need about $20,000. Now granted, they telling you, and the investment thesis says well, that hey, we're not liable as the bank, so you could lose your money because this company could go under. But if it strikes what you're supposed to, this is the returns and all this good stuff. Okay, and you get access to it. And there are some private investments that yes, you can put up $25,000. Yes, there are some private investments you can put up $50,000. We're not saying that you cannot. We haven't really seen them under 25K, but yes, you can do 25K. We've seen some 50K. We've seen these type of things. But at the end of the day, what you really gonna be? What's 30% of $50,000? That's a few grand. Which made at the end of the year you put in 50, you put in 50 up front, and at the end of the year you made, let's just go ahead and say you made 50%. This is as real as it gets. So you say, oh, Trust Christian, for real? Man, their investments alternative side, let's just say you make 150% in 3 years. So that means literally you make 50, 50, 50. That's 100% on top of your principal. But guess what? They're gonna tell you, yeah, we're not gonna pay you your money though. You got it locked up for like you could have it locked up for a while. Let's just say how locked up. It could be usually, okay, so on the private side, you'll usually see like a 3, 5, 7 year hold. You can see a 10-year hold. You hear the length now? It's not, oh man, I'm putting $50,000 somewhere and Christian, if I hit a hard time real quick because of the blah blah blah, then I could just go ahead and grab that 50 back. No, and sometimes sometimes you actually can grab back, but it's with a penalty, and sometimes you can't. But you still got the money making the money. You still got the money making the money. You might be out figuring it out the hard way, but you got money tied up secure, and they making it. They definitely doing that. 150 in 3 years. Bam, you get 150. 150% of the money. Come on now. How does that work? How is that possible? You don't even hear people talking about that stuff in the public. Why would they talk about it? They're not in it. They're not in it. You can get yourself into some more. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. You can't have no limits on your money making ability. Why? Because you say the money's going down in value. You said that. You as an American. You said that. You said as an American that, oh man, the money's losing value. So if you know that the money's losing value, how can you afford to not be grabbing as much as you can? You got limits on your thinking. Oh man, I just want to make this little bit right here every month. I'll be all right. If anything, you got to be focused on your greater abilities, your greater talents, your greater opportunities, your greatest ambitions, your greatest ideas. You got to right now. Why? Because those are the things that are going to produce the amount of cash flow to sustain your life at the level you want, and maybe for you to put a little bit away, and for you to get into investments that can sustain yourself. Because you said that the money's losing value. It's hilarious. Americans betting against themselves. That's what they doing. They don't even know it. How you gonna get around that? How you gonna get around it? We look forward to hearing from all of you all. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to type into the chat where you listening live, listen to replay from. We always appreciate everybody that listen live in the replay. We know we've been cranking out some episodes because we know that the content is rich over at the Vault. And we know that we talk about things that most people don't even have the wherewithal, and they just don't. But at the end of the day, we know that there are many people, especially trustees, that reach out to us that's African indigenous descent, and they definitely making over 150. They definitely making over $250,000 a year, and they're really looking for some places to really put their money and protect their assets. And we know that for a reason. Like all that poverty mentality stuff, that stuff's out of the window. All that, if you're in America, and you literally, if you're in America, you have a massive opportunity to capitalize on getting rich, being wealthy, being everything that you want to be. And that just comes from you associating with the right people. The women have heard on this episode, if they want to find a man, you go to alternative investment conferences. You can find one there. We're not looking to be the matchmaker, but a lot of women have asked us as trustees, and they definitely feel like there's no hope for a cause. But at the end of the day, it is. Promise you. There are many men in those environments that would love to see a pretty face with a sharp head on their shoulders as well. And so there are many women, sisters as well, that literally they got a good head on their shoulders, and they know nonsense, and they got real assets. They not out here begging, and they ain't got zero. They actually are heroes to themselves, let alone to their families now and their future families. They have some assets, and they're looking to grow those assets. And so once again, alternative investments for trustees, episode 702. Looking forward to hearing from you. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com for consultations or trustee training. Peace and joy.